The exam booking process is a fairly straightforward process, but it does cause a certain amount of concern. So I'm going to go through this as a demonstration of how you go about doing it and show you some of the aspects along the way that you need to consider. You should be looking to book your exam nicely ahead of time so that round about the time that you have completed all of the content on the course as delivered, that's a good time to start thinking about booking your exam. But the key thing about booking your exam is that whatever date and time that you do book, you are not committed permanently to that time. You can change that without any administration fees, as long as you give enough notice. I think from memory that the amount of notice you need to give is 48 hours, but it may very well be less. To be cautious, that's why I'm saying it's 48 hours. Okay, let's get into it. How do you do it? Well, the first place you need to be in is your Trailhead account. So here I am in my Trailhead account, and this is effectively the home page, and the Trailhead menu is here. And the one I want is certifications. So if I come in and I want to choose a certification, I select certifications and I'll go into the overview. And that'll bring me to a place where I can view all the certifications and then go searching for the one that I want. So there's a way of filtering. Just click Administrator. It comes up with suitable certifications that would be within the realm of an administrator to carry out. So I'm looking to become Certified Agentforce Specialist. I'll click in here. It happens to come up at this point, and it takes me to a place where I can register. But here is a good deal more detail and links to other pieces of information about doing exams. But the first thing that you can see is that it is, for an administrator's role, it's a level of intermediate, and it tells me that I can choose one of 3 languages to do the exam in, and the cost of the exam is $200 US. If I click here, I'll get an exam guide. I would advise you all to do that and have a good read. And then there are other resources in here. It tells you a bit more about the certification, and it tells you about the exam itself. 60 multiple choice questions with up to 5 unscored and 105 minutes. That actually is the same as the platform administrator. That's also 60 plus 5 with 105 minutes. And it's the same fee. So that's why this will be a good example for you to follow in terms of the process. So I want to go ahead and register. So I'll click Register now, and you get a choice. Some of you may prefer to go to a test center rather than to do it online, and that of course is absolutely fine. I haven't done that, so it's just that where I live there isn't really one that's very convenient, far away from the city. So the test center, we'll follow that pathway, and I'll just show you what that looks like. The first thing that it's done is it's come up with a box where I have to tick that I've agreed to the credentialing and learning program terms, and that I am stating that this name here is my legal name. I'm known as Bill Ward, but on documentation and passports and driving licenses, my name is William Ward. So that's why I have had to ensure that that's carried out in here, because when you submit your documentation in the registration process, they absolutely must match up. So let's go ahead and schedule. This is telling us that we're about to leave the Salesforce platform, and where we are now is in this Pearson view. If you look in the URL, it's all branded Salesforce. It's absolutely safe. This is correct. But they are partnered with this company called Pearson Learning, who are the people that actually administrate the exam itself. Now in here, there is a list of stuff that you need to do to prepare for your test center exam. So if you're going in person to a test center, you need to bring your photo ID. Then there is a video here, which I'm not going to play, but you can do that, and what to expect, and then it tells you about personal items. Right, let's click Next. We select the language. Click Next. The admission policy is a long old list. If you need to cancel your exam, you need at least 48 hours to do so. Exams cannot be cancelled with less than 48 hours from your appointment. Failure to cancel in time or failure to appear for your appointment will result in the forfeiture of the exam fee. That validates the 48 hours certainly for an in-person exam. If you're rebooking for an online exam, let's assume it's also 48 hours. It's also populated my address. It's come up with a selection of places that I could choose to go to. So if you live in London or another large city, you're obviously going to have a much bigger selection. And the nearest thing for me is coming up 25 miles away, somewhere down in Essex. Then there's a number of these dotted around in my general area. Something here that's about 40 miles away. In any case, you want to then go ahead and book. You find a date that you would like, and then you find a time, and you simply go ahead and book it. Let's say I want to go to this place, Double Light Technology Limited, on that date, at that time. That sounds perfect for me. Let's see what happens when we go ahead to book. That didn't seem to work. Let's try this one. Okay, that one has come up and brought me to a new page. Your appointment would be on June the 11th, 10 o'clock at this location. And this is the price, $240 when you include the VAT. And then you would proceed to the checkout. So I'll proceed to the checkout, but I won't actually check out. This is where you would enter in your payment details. And this is the place where if you have a voucher code, you would apply it here, and then that would adjust the fee. You then put in your details, and then you finish off the registration process. That is for a live test center booking. Let's backtrack. I'm back on the registration page. I'm going to register, and this time I'm going to make an online choice. Same as before, schedule now, and it's going to take me again to the Pearson VUE site. This time there is a bit more to consider because you're going to be doing this in a room, probably at your own home, and there is a very exacting set of requirements around that and around the computer that you're going to use, your test space and so forth. I've only ever done online, so I'm used to this. One of the things that you do need to bear in mind, on the day you have a check-in period that opens 30 minutes before the exam is due to start. But there is a preliminary bunch of things that you need to do before you even get there, which involves testing your computer, installing a little piece of software on it, and you don't want to be doing that on the day of the exam for something to go wrong. You will be at stress level 10 in no time at all. The system test, let's just have a look to see what that comes up with. This computer that I'm on now is not one that would be suitable for the exam because I'm not in a space that would be good. Whenever I do them, I use a laptop in a completely different room. You can see behind me, there's a shelf with books, items that would not pass the proctoring requirements in a space like this. There's just too many distractions. And the bottom line is they don't trust you. So when they say that the room must be clean, that's exactly what they mean. There is a file that I would download and it would self-install. And then what that would do is that come the day that you are going to do the exam, this file will make sure that your computer has nothing else on it that can be opened up and brought into view. So no documents. It basically locks down your computer so that you can only use it through the portal during the exam, nothing else. So you just need to follow the instructions step by step, nice and carefully, and take your time. Make sure that you iron out any glitches before the day of your exam. So that's the computer side. The testing space, here is a link, and this tells you about the testing spaces. I'm not going to go through all of this step by step, just to say that that's something that you do need to do and read it all carefully. One of the things that you're going to be doing is that you're consenting to a human proctor and assistive AI tools that will be watching you during the test. You have to have a camera that is able to see your face at all times. You cannot switch the camera off. If you want to go for a comfort break, don't. Go before, because once you're in that exam, there is no scope to be able to leave the room and come back for a comfort break. They just don't trust you. And when it comes to comfort breaks, although we're all advised to make sure that we drink plenty of water, if you drink too much water prior to the exam, if you're like me, you might be getting very uncomfortable towards the end. So I can't say how you should do it, but just beware that could be an issue for you. So there's plenty of resources around here, FAQs, there's a video. Just take your time and make sure you view it all so that you understand everything. Photo ID, there's not a lot to say about the photo ID. It's either a passport or a driver's license. If you are submitting your photo ID and it's a passport, one thing to watch is that the passport has to be flat on the desk. Otherwise, it won't accept the photo. Then you have a check-in process. If your exam is at 12 p.m., you can check in at 11:30. And I would certainly advise you to be ready to do that, because what happens is that you get to the time and check-in is allowed. So you will actually even get a notification by email to say that your check-in window is open. You go, you start. Then you go through a process which will involve you having to pick up your phone after you've scanned a QR code, and then you will have to take photographs of the room. You can't do that beforehand, because they want to know that the room you're in right now is one that's acceptable. So that having scanned a QR code, what that does is that it opens up your camera into their live system, and then it will ask you to take photographs of the front, the back, the sides of the room. You just follow the instructions and just keep sending the photographs. You join a queue, and then it will say, for example, that you're number 7 in the queue. And in the queue for what? In the queue for everything that you have given to be assessed by the human proctor and or the AI that they have in the background. You have to just sit and wait, and you have to stay on camera. What you mustn't do is refresh the browser or play around on the computer. You have to take a leap of faith. And if you're an impatient person like me, that's incredibly hard. But like being in a queue on a phone call to Vodafone or something, I remember it went from number 7, then it suddenly said, oh, you're number 4 in the queue. And I thought, oh, that's good. Then I was number 1 in the queue. And then for that last place in the queue took a long time, or it seemed it did, because obviously you're now feeling quite prepped and ready, and you just want to get on with it. Then all of a sudden, you're good to go. Your exam may start. Please click here and start your exam. And then the clock then starts running down, and you're into question 1. You're away. If you checked in at the beginning of the window, you might have started your exam 10 minutes early, because that's the way it works. You can't then go, hey, you know what? I don't want to start yet. I want to go and have a cup of tea. No, you're in, that you're committed. Off you go. So let's carry on with the rest of this. I'm selecting the language. I tick that I accept all of these policies. Of course, I've read them all in great detail. A reiteration of the rules, the IDs, technology checks on the test day, the environment checks, and the readiness checks. It even tells you, visit the bathroom before. You're not permitted to leave the room. Now, if you do have special reasons that you need to be able to leave the room, my understanding is that you have to apply for and let them know about in advance. If English is not your native language, you can also tell them about that, and you can get extra time. I would absolutely advise you to do that if you can get any extra time. If I could get extra time for me as a native English speaker, I would do it in a heartbeat, because I will tell you, those questions, sometimes I read them and I'm going, I don't understand the wording of this. Okay, so we're now ready to find an appointment. What's the time zone? Well, it's pre-populated, it knows my time zone, but I can change that if I want, because if I wanted to have an exam at midnight my local time, but there were no appointments available then, I might put a time zone in 5 hours behind in the USA, and then all of a sudden a whole new set of appointments open up. They don't care. An appointment is an appointment. Anyway, we're going to accept this, so I'll say yes, that's right, and now you have a box to select dates. Let's say that I want Tuesday the 30th of June, which is nicely ahead an hour, gives me plenty more preparation time. And how do I want times to be displayed? Well, I am a long-time user of the 24-hour clock, so I'm going to accept that as the default. And, oh, there's a lovely early appointment. I'm an early type of person. I'm going to have that, please. But if I wanted to explore more times, I can go in here, and there are time bands. Maybe you're an afternoon person. You want something between 1 and 5. There's 12 options in here, and here you are, take your choice. Excellent. But I'm going to take this default one that they've offered me, 8:45 to 10:50, and the steps from here are fairly straightforward to take me through to checkout. Here's the details of the appointment. Here's the fee. Proceed to checkout. Do you have a voucher code? Here's your moment to put it in. Type in the code, and then that will adjust the fee. Then select your payment type, Visa. Then you put in your billing information. When you've done that, you click Next. Obviously, I'm not going to go any further with that. So that, in a nutshell, is a quick canter through the online and the in-person booking process. I've skipped over a lot of the fine detail. That is for you to read. There are further videos and resources in there. Again, in your own time, I do recommend that you take a really good look. Thank you for your time.